I used to love Sony back in the PlayStation 2. All their straightforward, just games. It was just all about having the great product with the great game. It wasn't about. Yeah, they didn't have much of competition back then. That's a given. But even up until most of the PS3, it wasn't about shit talking their way around the people that they supposedly care so much about. Yeah, Microsoft's no better. It's just a big corporation. Obviously, they don't technically have our best interests in mind. They don't know us all personally and whatnot, but they, at press conferences, they don't go for the low blows. They don't go for all this. They are behind now. Yes, they are very behind, but their thinking's very forward. It just seems like they're focused on doing right. They've done wrong the last year or so, and most of the heads just bailed ship, and they knew they were going to bail ship anyway. They're all gone to Zynga of all places and other dumb mobile areas, which is where they belong, because they shouldn't be relevant. Phil Spencer alone is just, he's turning up the heat. The PS3 was behind for a long time before, and it took years just to get it back on track. It had a way higher price. It was, I don't know, it wasn't an inferior piece of hardware per se, but it was just big, bulky, and then it overheated, I think, or it was really loud, and all of these things were wrong with it. I didn't really own it. My brother did, and I always see him play it, and it was just, I don't know, whenever I pick it up, I just feel wrong. And PSN, the lack of updates has always been prevalent ever since the PS3. And considering it's a pay service now, it should have been updated somewhat, or they just should have replaced it with Xbox Live, because we all know it's much better service. Either way, though, the reason I make this video is about an article on. I normally don't source GameSpot or IGN or any of the bigger sites, because I normally take favors and whatnot. But this is just the article of the kind of things that Sony puts out there, the kind of stuff their higher ups say. They say ridiculous things like this. The article is about how they Destiny bundle perception that PlayStation is the best place to play. Their executive is saying that this is to make owners feel special, and it's a $450 price, which is $50 more than their console now. So you're basically paying for Destiny, but you get a little spray painted console that probably costs them, a couple dollars just to change the pigment on, or just to color it. I'm really not sure I'm making that up, but I would assume so. It's made in China anyway, so to change the color isn't really touching much of it. It's just changing the parts that you assemble it with. You're just changing the color of those, and yeah. I don't know. This is the kind of stuff. I bet at Gamescom they're gonna take another pop shot like they did at E3 this year when they mentioned their camera and how it's never been boxed and all that. They were just taking a low blow, and I believe they took a low blow towards Nintendo also for no apparent reason. All Microsoft does is wish them well about everything they do, and they just want to take the opportunity to rub everything in their face. Just because you're selling 3 times, maybe 2 times as much as the Xbox One right now, Sony, doesn't mean that you're perfect. Now the article will be linked in the description below, but as a consumer, I just feel so left out by Sony. Their approach is so derogatory and offensive, and it seems like that provokes their fans to submit hate through different channels like YouTube, forums, etc. Any social media, any chance they get, they will take any chance to discredit Xbox's graphics, even though Rise was, voted one of the best looking games on consoles. And it just goes to show, man, if you know how to use the hardware, if you have the right engine, you can use the platform to its full advantage. And I really hope the Wii U starts to, take that mentality in, because they're really getting killed right now because they they just have a lot of releases spread around, and now they're doing from what I've heard, a really lax indie thing, just like 360 had, where anyone can put anything on there without anyone pretty much looking at or caring what it is, for any price. And actually, I kind of like that feature on the Xbox 360. I kind of wish that was back, because then people who would normally not get their game out in the public eye can. And I'm sure there was a lot of games on there that made a lot of money without any publishing or anyone. It was just the person and their game, It sold it themselves, It was all about word of mouth, and you shared it with your friends. It was kind of fun experiencing weird, unique games with your friends. And Let's Draw Together was my favorite game on Xbox 360 Arcade, and it was just like a cheesy little $3 game. You just drew and shared your photos with your friends, and it was just awesome. We draw like comic sections, dicks, swastikas, all that mature stuff that teenagers be doing these days. Like drugs. Well, either way, this is the cow of gaming, and I'm gonna go milk it up in the club. See you around.